Welcome to the Growing Your Business podcast. This is the show that dives into the big question, what's in it for me, for both the business and its customers? On each episode, we sit down with a business owner or leader to uncover their why, their values, and the stories that drive them to grow their business. So joining me today on the Growing Your Business podcast in the studio is Don Powell of DentCraft of Texas. How you doing, Don?
I'm doing good, and thanks for having me, buddy.
Glad to have you here. I want to know what everybody wants to know, Don, is what do you do for your customers? What sets you apart?
Yeah, well, customer service is very important to me, and unfortunately, in the world of 2025, we don't get to experience a lot of customer service. So I try to go above and beyond, and keep customers in constant communication with the process of what I do. And God's blessed me with some opportunities with being able to do paintless dent repair, PDR. And so I want to be able to give the customers, the quality of service that they're actually expecting, especially the fact that there's not a cheap cost in vehicles these days, right? Everything's pretty expensive. So in that regards, hail hits a vehicle and there's immediate scare and nobody knows what to do. So I like to try to coach them along the process of how I'm going to take this off of them. So that becomes a catastrophe, right, when it hails. So in the grand scheme of things, if I can provide the solution for them and make them feel comfortable about the circumstances, because again, in 2025, people still don't even know what to do, where to go, or what can be done. So with that being said, I want to educate my customers. And I think that's what sets me apart, is educating the customers throughout the process.
Well, terrific. And that's so true. Hailstorm happens. People are thinking about their roof. They walk out and see their car as a disaster.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of everyone's emotionally challenged, I guess you could
Sure.
say, because your investments are damaged.
Yeah.
And so talk me through the customer journey. Let's say, okay, my car is damaged. I'm going to call Don. So Don, you pick up the phone or however I reach you, and what happens first?
Yeah. So first, I want you to reach out to your insurance company and file a claim. Right. As long as it's noticeable, because sometimes it does hail and it's pea size and people are freaking out and saying, I just got hit with damage, and really there's no damage. So when customers say, yes, I can see that there's dents on my car, clearly that supports a claim. So they initially have to make the claim. I cannot do that. From there...
That's your advice, is call your insurance agent, then call me back. Yeah.
Yes. And
Great.
From there, I could handle the claim following that.
Okay, great. And what's let's just say I have a medium-sized SUV, and it's got enough dents that we agree, like the insurance agrees,
Yep.
right? And so do I just bring it to you? Like, talk me through what I can expect there.
Yeah, so the insurance company may require you or recommend you. Now, I say that in both realms because sometimes they come out, so they may require that they come out and identify. And in that regards, they want to just validate that you actually have damage, because they're not going to try to issue any payments to something that they can't actually verify. And then also to keep from any fraudulent claims coming in, going to a shop and saying, well, there's all of a sudden some damage to vehicles. So that, now in the same token, to make the process easy, I will say you filed the claim, bring it to me. I'm going to then follow up with the insurance company. I'm going to take photos to identify that there's actually damage, do my estimate, and submit it from there, and more or less pull that off of the customer. Because again, I'm the professional.
Right.
So when customers are uncertain as to what's going on, they don't want somebody that's going to necessarily not guide them in the proper direction. They want somebody to say, hey, where do I go? What do I do? How do I do this? So that's why I say, hey, bring it to me. And also with that, I like to mention, most people don't know this, but no body shop actually has a full-time paintless dent repair technician that works for them. We're all subcontracted.
Oh, I had no idea.
Every body shop subcontracts to us.
Right.
So DentCraft of Texas, I started DentCraft of Texas officially in 2016, and opened up my own shop. And now essentially I cut out the middleman.
Yeah. Yeah, they
right?
just bring it straight to you.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with going to a body shop, because a lot of times that there is additional damages that require paint and etc. However, I do service body shops. Therefore, I'm not just a vendor. I can be a customer. So I handle the claim from A to Z in the event that there's additional damages that are needed, paint, etc. So we call that combo work.
Combo work. Yeah, it makes sense. Your dent and paint.
Dent and paint, yeah.
I'm thinking about common questions that I have as a potential customer, and people that are listening or watching is, what is a typical turnaround time? And what's a range that you give you? Obviously, heavy hail season means everything's on a delay, first come, first serve in a way.
Yep.
What is reasonable in a normal season to you? Basically, you're without your car for a period of time.
Sure, that's a great question, and the truth is, there is no typical turnaround time.
Right.
And I say that with respect to the process goes as well, to go back to the initial question that you asked. So even if you filed a claim and brought the vehicle to me today, I cannot do the repairs. I cannot start anything until the insurance company approves.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
Because there's no way for me to validate that there was this type of damage until they come out and see the damage to the vehicle and say, okay, now we agree.
Yeah. Step one has to happen before anything else happens.
Correct. So to answer that, I have no control over that.
Right.
Now, am I diligently reaching out to the insurance company to try to expedite this process to get you your vehicle back? Absolutely. However, I can't control them. And it could take a day. I've had it up to almost a month.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's very important to pick a good insurance provider that communicates as well. So,
well, they all typically can be same.
But a busy season would affect that as well.
Yes, because people don't understand that it falls under a catastrophe.
Yeah.
It's a catastrophic event.
Right.
We live in a world today that Amazon can deliver within hours. Everybody thinks that this is a quick process. Right. I'd like to say that I want to make it quick because, remember, the faster I get you your car back, the faster I get paid.
Yep. And everybody's happy.
And everybody's happy.
Yeah.
But there is a process. And a lot of the times the process is out of my hands. So the next step is once the vehicle is approved and me and the insurance company agreed to the repairs, sometimes there's a little bit of a battle because the insurance companies might disagree that
we all know this. It's always in the news of insurance companies either playing doctor or car doctor or something like that based on what they want to pay.
So we may have to go back to the table and fight with the insurance company, resubmit what's called a supplement.
Okay.
So I want to touch on the supplement process because a lot of people think that if the insurance company comes out and gives me a preliminary estimate, and here we are in Texas, we know that damage can be pretty significant, right? So, the next question is what's the average cost of hail repairs?
You're way ahead of me.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there is no typical average. Now, the season can dictate an average. However, we may end up having a $1,500 claim. We may end up having a $25,000, $30,000 claim, depending on the vehicle.
Just short of totaling it. Yeah.
Which I'd like to touch on that as well, too.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so the insurance companies may come out and they may give you, the customer, a preliminary estimate and a preliminary check. Again, customers are not certain as a process. They're panicked. It's a catastrophe. Their roofs, everything got destroyed. What do I do? Insurance company says, here you go. There's a lot of information on these estimates. It looks like foreign information to me, so I have no idea. The check's half. They wonder if they're going to pay out of pocket any additional. Well, there's always the supplement process that people don't know. And sometimes we end up having to put in 2, 3, 4 supplements because there may be something unforeseen that we didn't see, or the insurance company didn't quite, agree to the cost of repairs. And so where I feel like I differentiate is, keeping the customer in the loop. And I try to educate the customer before the process as we engage in the conversation. Hey, be prepared because this is where things may be. So I want you to know that if there's a delay in the process, that I'm going to bat to make sure that we get this done and done right. But I also may need you to help support this. So you understand that, hey, this isn't covering everything, and I need you to, realize that I'm not going to ask you for the money when this is all incurred under the storm that has come through.
You mentioned supplements. Is that like a resubmittal of a claim? What is a supplement?
In addition to.
Gotcha. In addition to. So you've basically looked at the car and you found that it's something that the claim initially didn't cover, or as in you couldn't even tell.
That's one aspect of it. Yeah. The other aspect of it is when an adjuster comes out, or let's say you take it to a lot of times they advise you to go to what's called a DRP shop, direct repair program shop. You go to them and they're going to do a preliminary estimate. Well, essentially those are estimators, or at the shop, or if it's at an insurance company that comes out, those are adjusters. Well, they're not the professionals. Right. They may be looking at it outside. They may put this round reflector panel over it and kind of look at it. And yeah, you can see that there's some what we call flickers and see that there's some dents in there. But the professionals, when we get it in, right, now we see the way that we would be actually doing the repairs with it because we have special lights. Right. So then we see a total different ballgame. So I'll even put this into perspective. Buddy calls me and says, hey, I just got hit with hail and I count like 10 dents on my hood. I'm going to say, buddy, thank you. If you see 10, I'm probably going to see 30 outside. Right. We bring it in and put it under the lights, there may be 100. Right.
Because you have specialized tools. Yeah.
Controlled environment and lights and et cetera. So that's where, basically, okay, that's a start. You can see, go ahead and file the insurance claim. And otherwise, if it's something where it's a light damage in certain areas and they're uncertain, then, hey, bring it to my shop. We'll throw it under the lights. We'll kind of gauge whether you got any damage, whether you should file a claim or pay out of pocket if you want to. Right. Because, again, if you got a $500 deductible and there's $500 worth of damage, you're not filing a claim.
Right. Why bother? Right.
Exactly.
Just take care of it. Tell me some examples of walking someone through the process.
There's aluminum.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people think aluminum is softer, so it's easier to repair. And actually, it's not as malleable. You have to put a lot more force into it. So physically, it is more strenuous to repair. Again, as you ask me about my customers, in our industry, I'm going to say there's a lot of dent guys that don't like working on aluminum. And our term would be that they want to kick panels, meaning that it's going to go to conventional repair, which requires replacement parts or bodywork paint. I like to pride myself on the fact that I love to fix as much as I can. I challenge myself to improve upon my capabilities. And to me, I find that I really enjoy fixing aluminum.
The hard stuff.
The
challenge.
Hard stuff. Yeah. To improve my capabilities.
Sure.
We're always growing. We're always improving, especially because the metals are changing. Yeah. And I like to believe, and I don't know because I'm not a metallurgist, but I like to say that some of the metal appears to me that there's a composite.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll put a magnet to the metal to determine if it's going to magnetize. It's steel. If it's not, it's aluminum or,
fiberglass. I guess
fiberglass
materials.
Corvettes, all fiberglass. It's, so sometimes, as new cars come out, we're like, the magnet's sticking, but it's not moving or cooperating quite like steel. So what is here? Is there some type of composite or whatnot? So throughout the process, it's a continuous learning for us because the metals are changing or thinning or whatever the case may be. So yeah, that's a good question.
Because the innovation is always happening.
Sure.
And it's not always good for the industry, really. I mean, they may try something for a couple of years and find out it's a terrible material, some of like stainless steel and things that are coming out, because I know there's have you done any work on like some of the Teslas that have a different looking metal? Are those challenging? Have you seen any of those?
Extremely challenging.
Yeah. Imagine.
Tesla, Range Rover, some of those are of the most difficult aluminum to work on. Teslas are all aluminum. Can they be repaired? I've done quite a few of them. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of work, and it's of another challenging level.
I imagine the Cybertrucks are very difficult because their look is so smooth.
Yeah.
For
those are not supposed to be dentable,
right,
per se.
Stay with us. The Growing Your Business podcast will return right after this. Ready to amplify your brand's voice? At Blue Mike Studios, we transform your ideas into captivating podcasts and videos. Whether you're launching your own show or guest starring on ours, we've got you covered. From recording and editing to social media promotion. With state-of-the-art 4K video and crystal clear audio, your content will shine. We offer guest packages on our podcasts and offer segments from the show for you to share. Or let us help you build your own branded podcast with custom strategy, branding, and full production support. Visit BlueMikeStudios.com today and let your voice be heard. Please check our show notes for sponsorship links and additional details. Now, back to the Growing Your Business podcast with Buddy Broyles. So, Don, obviously there's the natural disasters. Well, what about us humans when we do something stupid? So if someone runs into a vehicle like the Cybertruck or any of the vehicles, and how do you deal with those?
To be honest, I don't know about the Cybertruck just yet, but as far as, the general question, somebody runs into that or,
creates a dent through human stupidity, like we've all run
basketball,
a red light.
Baseball.
Or something small.
Anything. So it is all subjective.
Sure.
So again, I get, hey, this is kind of funny. You'll appreciate this. Is I've got this huge dent. I'm going to send you some pictures. What do you think? And then they send me this dent, and it's a quarter-size dent. And then on the flip side, I get, hey, I got this tiny dent. Can you tell me what you think you can do with it? And they send me a picture, and it's the whole door smashed in.
Like a sledgehammer.
A sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And so
this little dent,
It's funny how people...
Perspective.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So I've learned to say, hey, just bring the card to me and we'll take a look at it versus going through, and I may tell them to send me a photo because if it's completely out of the realm right from the beginning, somebody takes a sledgehammer to it, that's conventional. Yeah. We need to take that to the body shop and get that. Absolutely. So
kicking panels earlier. Yeah. It's
correct. Yeah. So, I like to tell people I fix dents. I'm very good at fixing dents, but not all dents are fixable through paintless dent repair. Gotcha. And it could be even a small dent. It could be depending on the location. It could be depending on how it occurred. So it is truly subjective to what can be done. And that's where customer service, I like to say that I can do more than most, not all dent guys. Yeah. So we call ourselves dent guys.
Great. Okay. Good to know. And of the dent guys that are in the area, like what area do you serve? Because you're based here in McKinney, is that your location? Yep. So you service. How far outside of McKinney would you recommend people bring?
I've got a customer from Argyle. My furthest customer was from New Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah. So he wanted to make sure that I fixed his car. It was a Mercedes, so he didn't want anybody else touching it. So he brought it to me. Unfortunately, that was one of the claims where it took 30 days for the insurance company to approve it. Yeah. But still, he was extremely satisfied with the repairs after all said and done.
Worth the drive.
100%. So I've had people from Austin, San Antonio drive up. Yeah, so not just for a basic door ding or dent, but for hail, because they know that it's going to be, a much longer process. So if that makes sense.
How long have you been doing this?
Got into it around 2010, so going on 15 years now.
A lot of experience then.
Yes.
You've seen a lot of changes in that time.
Yes.
That's excellent.
Yes, a whole lot.
How do you like to be reached?
Phone, text message. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll put that in the show notes, so in case it changes over time, we want to make sure we keep that up to date. So for you, if you're watching or listening, just scroll down to the show notes, and I'll have Don's information in there to find you and get on his list. And obviously, if there's a disaster, take care of step one quick so you can get in Don's queue
Yeah.
and go from there.
Yeah.
So of the things we've covered, Don, is there anything else we've missed that we want to share with the audience? Especially if they're concerned, how do you about, I mean, some people's car, it's their baby,
Sure.
like
It's a huge investment.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys that are out, what I say, door knocking.
Yeah.
I don't door knock.
Right.
I'm not a door knocker. And I believe that, our industry is being filled with a lot of the guys from out of town. They come in, they make themselves appear like they're in town, like I've been here. And they're trying to give away the world. And it's that bait and switch type mentality. Yeah. And then you end up getting some repairs done. And next thing you know, you've got problems down the road. And you're like, how do I get a hold of these people?
Right. Go with someone who's been around for 15 years in this area. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly. Well, I haven't been around.
Right.
I'm not originally from Texas.
But I'm saying, or let's just say someone's been in the business as long as you have,
exactly.
and are located right here in McKinney. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I'm not to say that some of these guys that come into town from out of town are not good. Right. And I'm not going to say that all door knockers are bad, because there's some local people who have built a pretty good business knocking on doors. Most of my business has been built on referrals. Yeah. I don't give away the farm. I'm all about quality because, again, these are huge investments these days. Yep. I mean, if you live in an apartment, your vehicle is your largest investment. Yep. If you live in a house, your vehicle is your second largest investment. Yep. And what people don't understand is, the diminished value that can come with your vehicle. So you asked me this question and it made me think a little bit as far as, what are we missing when people get hail damage? A lot of times they want to run to the car dealership and trade in their car. I'm going to tell you something that is going to hit home with you right now, buddy, that first of all, the customer has no idea how much that hail damage truly is. And you bring it to the dealership, well, they see your car and they see that there's hail damage on it. And I'm not going to be specific with numbers, but just they're going to overly deduct what the hail damage was on that car.
They're going to use it to their advantage. Yeah.
I have friends in the car dealership business, so I'm being careful.
Yeah. But it's a reality.
It's a reality.
Yeah. It's like
it's a reality.
Yeah.
So
you're showing your hand, if you will, if you show up at a dealership with a hail damage car.
They see it.
Yeah.
And they're loving it.
Yep.
We're in Texas. They know.
You're giving them leverage.
You're giving them leverage. And I use that term to the customers a lot of time.
Yep.
And what people don't realize is, I don't know, let's say the average hail is $6,000 typically throughout Texas. Well, I mean, you don't know that as a customer. And let's say that the insurance company gave you a $3,000 check and you're saying, well, I got $3,000 in my pocket. I'm going to go trade in my car, but they deduct $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 off of the cost of your car. Okay, you got $3,000, but now you're flipped upside down $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. And what people don't understand is that being rolled into your next vehicle.
Yeah.
You're actually financing.
Yep. Them to repair your own damage. Yep.
Versus getting it repaired.
Yep.
And having a clean slate, no leverage, and going into the dealership and saying, here's a level playing field.
Yep.
How much you going to give me for my car?
Yep. Makes sense.
But this is where I try to educate my customers versus what most people don't realize.
Wow.
Right?
That's terrific. I say if you've tuned in for this show, this is the good stuff, right? The important stuff to know on top of, your value and why you take care of your customers.
Yeah, because again, here we are talking about a very expensive vehicle. What is the average cost of a vehicle now? About $40,000, right?
At least. Yeah.
Okay, so
it's almost like the bottom now. Yeah, for a new vehicle.
So that breakdown that I just gave you, you just added $6,000 more, or more or less. I don't know. I mean, not every deal is going to be that way, but generally that's what's happening. So we're looking to cut our monthly payments. Essentially, when you go into a dealership, they're like, how much do you want your payments to be? Not how much the cost of this car is anymore. So a lot of times we're actually trying to reduce, from where we are. And here you're adding and giving them additional a bonus to them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They're
right?
going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Because they're in business too. And what I'm hearing from you is like, just get it fixed. Talk to you, get it fixed. Take care of your stuff. First, take care of your stuff. Because if you hand off something that's damaged,
sure,
it's anyone in their right mind is going to leverage that damage against you.
Yeah, and they're not going to tell you about it.
Yeah,
they're not going to say, "Hey, you got hail damage, and we're going to knock off."
They'll take the car because then they can turn it right back and take it to you and get it repaired well.
Yeah,
and then their slate is clean when they resell that car.
Yeah. So
play the game right, people. Yeah.
If anybody has bought a car, what do? They put that piece of paper in front of you and say, "Here's what we're going to give you for your car." They never said, "Well, we were going to give you this, but now we're going to give you this because you got these damages to it." No, they're
not going to do the math for you.
No.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are like, "What do I do?" Yeah. So that's where I've thought a lot of this through, where, how can I help my customers understand the process and not make those mistakes? Yeah, it's great that you get $3,000 and it's owed to you, but people, $6,000, if not more, on the back end. And again, as I said, to kind of clarify that, using those numbers, when the insurance company comes out and gives you the preliminary estimate, again, they're not the professionals. Yes, they are identifying that there is damage to your vehicle, and they're writing up an estimate, and they're providing you with a dollar that is, in relations to the hail damage, etc. But they're not the professionals to know that this is exactly how much it is. And if they do know, they're still not doing it. Right. So anybody that has had any experience with hail damage knows that what the original estimate is far off from what the actual cost of the repairs become.
Right. So be aware of that and learn from it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's terrific.
So hopefully that's the golden nugget that people realize, wow, I never thought that one through.
Yeah. Yeah, that's and the opportunity to speak with someone like yourself is you're an expert and you've seen so much.
Yeah.
You've seen it come and go, so you know how to guide us in the right way. So awesome, Don. So I really appreciate you coming into the show and just sharing that knowledge and that perspective. Because like as you mentioned from the beginning of the show, we walk out and see a damaged car, and it's usually we've got other problems too.
Yeah.
So for having an expert like yourself on our side is great. So I appreciate you coming and being on the show.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. Of course.
Thank you for joining us today on the Growing Your Business podcast. Please see the show notes for links to our sponsors, our social media, and to learn more about today's guest.